Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of my podcast ever. Today, I'm here with
Karlinsky.
how are you doing today, Lee Karlinsky, on this fine afternoon?
I'm doing great. How are you, Liam Karlinsky?
I'm good. Oh, that's crazy. We have the same last name because this is actually my dad.
Indeed, indeed I am.
Crazy. My dad. He's actually It was just his birthday. He's I think 53, or I'm wrong.
I think you're wrong.
Are you 54?
I am. That's right.
I'm a horrible son. Okay. Anyway,
You're a great son. You're
uh,
just not good.
it's not math. It's just remembering. It's hard to remember. How old am I?
How old are you? 19.
Okay, just checking. Okay, let's get a little information about you. So, tell us a little bit about your childhood, your early childhood. What was your upbringing like?
I think I had a pretty good upbringing. My parents were both great people. I have an older brother, and I was born and raised in Miami. As you know, I my background is I come from the Jewish religion, and
Really?
I went to a Jewish day school growing up,
Like
and
till which grade?
till sixth grade. I went to a Jewish day school. I got bar mitzvahed at the temple that was attached to the Jewish day school that my family belonged to. My
Sorry,
brother.
for the audience. What's a bar mitzvah?
Well, bar mitzvah is technically it's when Jewish male turns 13 and he has the honor of being allowed to read from the Torah as his entry into manhood.
So he can drink, basically.
If your definition of entry into manhood is being able to consume alcohol, then yes, but the technical bar mitzvah definition in Judaism is having the honor of being able to read from the Torah.
Okay, interesting. All right, continue.
Uh, Continue about my childhood. I played soccer. I was very athletic.
On the
Uh,
Jewish soccer team or the regular soccer team?
no, it was a club soccer team. It had nothing to do with religion or Judaism. It just so happened that a
Say like
lot
if
of Jews on the soccer
if you're
team.
on the Jewish one, then you probably were one of the best players, but on the other one, you were probably the worst player then, I'm assuming.
I was good. I wasn't great, and I wasn't bad. I was average. I
Okay.
played a position called left mid, which is an important position for two reasons. The midfield controls the strategy of the game, and also there's not a lot of left-footed players.
Left-footed, I was gonna say. Thank God I'm normal, so I don't think it's genetic, left-handed, but maybe it could be. I'm not sure.
Maybe.
What about high school? I've heard some interesting things about your high school, some knifings. Talk a little bit about that.
Uh, High school was okay. It wasn't great.
Well, what high
Uh,
school did you go? Was it
I went to a high school called Miami Sunset Senior High School, and it was a couple miles from where I lived. There was it was an okay high school. They didn't have any windows. That's what they were most known for. People equated it to being in like a prison because they didn't have any.
a lot of schools in Florida look like prisons.
Yeah. And I went to high school from 1985 to 1988. And I don't remember exactly when. It might have been 85 to 86. But at some point in Miami, there was something called the Marielito boat lift, where Castro in Cuba let out a lot of people from prisons and psychiatric wards and also just the general population and basically said, you can leave Cuba freely if you're willing to take the risk of taking a boat or some sort of flotation device or try and swim from Cuba to Key West all the way to Miami. And the US government had amnesty for any Cuban that could make their way onto the uh, US soil that granted them citizenship and amnesty from communist Cuba. And so what happened is my high school, which was maybe 1,000 people, went from 1,000 people to like 2,500 people overnight. And the athletic field turned into portable classrooms, and the theater room turned into the math class, and it just was chaos. And people that weren't used to living in the US and used to living in Cuba all of a sudden immigrated to the US and were part of my high school and couldn't speak a lick of English and weren't aware of the rules and laws in the US, and there would be gang fights and stuff like that. It was actually a pretty crazy time in Miami.
What was that your sophomore year in high school?
I don't remember. It might have been my freshman or sophomore year, but it was definitely a weird time. There used to be fights, gang fights after school.
Like
Just a
what gang
lot.
you talking about? Like Bloods and Crips or like
Oh, no,
or like
this was
what's the other MS-37? What's it called?
MS-16.
MS-16? Like which gang?
I don't think that was even in effect. It was just like
Not gangs.
Cubans.
I get what you're saying. Not
It
like an
was like
actual.
Cubans versus Colombians one day, then Colombians versus Venezuelans the next day. It wasn't just Cubans that influxed Miami. It was a mass immigration in general of Latin Americans into Miami. And as a result, there would be different nationalities that would get into different fights and altercations. I once was a witness to a guy basically getting his ear bit off, which was kind of messed up in one of the gang fights.
Like like some Mike Tyson type deal,
That's
or
right. That's right.
like
Yeah.
you saw it come off, or like it was bleeding.
It was bleeding. I'm assuming a part of it came off.
Or was this just like during the day, like at lunchtime? Like,
This was after school. It was usually after school.
oh, that's quite interesting. Okay, well
Yeah,
let's go up a little now to college level. I know you went to University of Miami. That's where I'm going. I
that's right.
heard some crazy stories. You want to tell some of them? I don't know, maybe a certain cheerleader or I don't know, it's anything.
College was great. I had a pretty positive college experience. I went to the University of Miami from 1988 to 1992. And
Yeah.
back then, the University of Miami was one of the hottest college football teams at the time. In 1988 and 89, I think Jimmy Johnson was the head college football coach for the University of Miami. He later went on to coach the Dallas Cowboys. He won a national championship in 1988 or 89 when I was a freshman or a sophomore. Like I said, he later went on to coach the Dallas Cowboys and win at least one Super Bowl for them. So he's a pretty famed coach. And then University of Miami also won a national championship in 1992. So I was a part of 2 out of 4 national championship years when I was in college. And there was crazy historic games during that period. There's something called wide right, which is legendary Florida State versus Miami situation where the game comes down to a field goal, and it's usually in Florida State's court to either tie or win the game, or if they miss it, they lose the game. And at least 2 out of the 4 years that I was there, they kicked 2 wide right field goals. I was there for Miami playing Notre Dame, which Notre Dame is known as the Fighting Irish. It's a Catholic university. I think my seats were in the aisle, the stairwell of the stadium because it was so packed. There was nowhere to sit, and the game was called Catholics versus Convicts because a lot of the University of Miami players were associated with criminal activity, and also Miami played Michigan, I think, when I was there, which was a pretty great game. And I studied industrial engineering. I was in a fraternity, Sigma Phi Epsilon. I worked for the local Anheuser-Busch distributor. I was dating a cheerleader at the University of Miami. And like I said, I had a pretty amazing college experience.
So I don't know if you're comfortable sharing this, but I know a specific story about what I don't know if it was the cheerleader girlfriend, but one of your girlfriends and a wet t-shirt contest. I don't know if you're comfortable sharing this, but I think it's a pretty funny story.
I mean, since you brought it up, I guess I have to share it. But it was not the cheerleader girlfriend. It was a girl that I dated from summer camp when I was in high school
Okay.
who lived in Florida. And when I was a freshman, she was a senior in high school. She lived in Boca and she used to visit me and I used to visit her in college. And she had an older brother who I was also friendly with.
Did she go
I
to
can't,
Spanish River?
what's that?
Did you go to Spanish River?
Or Boca High. It's one of those two. I don't know which one.
That
Uh,
that changes a lot.
yeah, I know that says a lot, but I don't remember which one, Liam.
Okay.
But at some point, I don't remember if it was when she was a senior in high school and I was a freshman in college, or if she was a freshman in college and I was a junior in college, but a sophomore in college, sorry. But at some point, she went out with her brother, her older brother, and their friends to a place called Club Boca, which I don't even know if it's still open or not, but it was a club for young kids. I don't even think you had to be 21 to get in. I think you can get in when you're 18. And for spring break at Club Boca, they had a wet t-shirt contest that at the time my girlfriend entered into, which I guess was fine. I thought it was a little weird, but she wound up winning. And
That's a
I,
compliment.
what's that?
That's a compliment for you.
Yeah, yeah, I guess. I don't know. More for her than for me. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I wasn't the most mature at the time, and I made a lot of mistakes, especially in my youth. And this is probably one of those where, as a result of her prize winnings and her telling me about this and her being apprehensive about being involved in this while we were dating, I made the mistake of basically suggesting slash encouraging her to give me the prize winnings since uh, well, that's probably the best part of the story, so I won't expand on it more. But I probably shouldn't have done that, and I later apologized to her for doing that.
I think that's completely valid. I mean, that's
Maybe at the time in my mental state and my maturity, I thought it was valid, but and you were probably right around the same age I was, so you could probably feel the same way. But looking back at it, it probably wasn't the nicest or healthiest thing to do.
I mean, it wasn't the healthiest thing for her to enter a wet t-shirt contest. So,
I mean, she's her own person. I don't know.
I mean, at least she
But
won.
yeah, exactly.
But that was like your
If you
girlfriend.
do something, you might as well get first.
That's like your girlfriend starting an OnlyFans. Like, not okay.
Have that back then, but I guess maybe this would be the equivalent today.
No, I think the equivalent would be like being a stripper. Anyway,
Maybe.
okay. So I know you got a master's in industrial engineering. I have a very intense question for you. Why do you think that out of all the millionaires, a high percentage of them are engineers? Like the highest percent of millionaires are engineers in the world. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think by definition, engineers are problem solvers and they have unique skills in terms of math and science and in building and creating and improving things in a way that makes them uniquely positioned to be successful in life. So I would say that's probably the biggest reason. Most engineers are innovators and creators. If you look at people like Elon Musk, the richest person in the world, that his background is in engineering and stuff that he is doing right now, whether it's AI or Tesla or Starlink or whatever, all of those things carry disciplines of his engineering background to create and innovate in areas that wouldn't have been possible prior. So I think that's the big reason why.
Okay, but Elon Musk, so would you, if someone wanted to become an engineer right now, would you suggest that they go to college? Because Elon Musk dropped out of college and he said the way he learned about engineering was by just reading books. Like the way, like someone asked him, like, how did you like learn all this stuff about like how to like send rockets into space? He's like, I just read books about it. He didn't go to college for it. Like, how is he like, how does he know that without college?
I don't think college is the end all be all, but I do think college for most people need structure and discipline. Most people aren't able to just pick up books and read and comprehend and absorb without some level of instruction and structure and discipline. So I would say for most people, college is a good thing. It teaches you how to think. I don't think it stifles creativity. I think it encourages creativity. But if you're a self-starter, I don't think college really matters. Especially if you want to be an entrepreneur and work for yourself. But if you're not in that position and you don't have that mindset, I think college is good.
And do you think why the most millionaires are engineers is because it's so hard to become an engineer that once you become one, it's like you could do anything?
That's like the chicken or the egg. I really don't know. I think that might be the case, or it might be the case that uh, their mentality of why they wanted to become engineers in the first place is they want to solve hard problems or create things that weren't created before. So it could be either one of those things.
And if you could go back in time to like start in college, would you do the same industrial engineering or would you do something else?
I don't know. I like what I do. You know, originally I thought I was going to be ophthalmologist or an optometrist or an architect.
What are those first two?
The first two are eye doctors.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
I really I don't know if I did it all over again if I would choose something differently. I like industrial engineering. I liked studying it. I thought it was interesting. I like what I do. I like the career path trajectory for that. But I think I would have also liked being an eye doctor, and I think I also would have liked being an architect. It's just you know, I don't know why, but I wound up going down the industrial engineering path.
Okay. And what do you think I should do?
I think you should do what interests you the most. I'm
I
not
thought I
sure.
have to
I'm
be a
not sure
doctor.
what that is. That would, I mean, a doctor or a lawyer. You don't have to be a doctor. You could choose to be a lawyer.
You said me and my brother, one of us has to be a doctor, one of us has to be a lawyer. Neil's probably going to be a lawyer, likely, maybe. Who knows?
Maybe, maybe not.
Wants to. So if he does, then I should be a doctor. So isn't that what you said?
That is what I said. Although your brother's not a lawyer, nor is he in law school, nor is he on a path for that.
I heard
You could say you want to do a lot of things, but saying and doing are two different things.
so I could be a lawyer.
If you so choose, yes.
I think I'll be a great lawyer, but I'm never becoming a lawyer. Just stating
I
that.
think I think you enjoy arguments, and I think you're a very logical thinker.
Do not enjoy arguments whatsoever.
I think you enjoy challenging people.
Eh, not really. I try and stay away from arguments. They just
Okay.
find me.
Okay.
I don't know.
Nice.
Okay, well, thank you so much for being on my podcast.
Liam, it's been a real pleasure.
It's been a great pleasure. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and I'll see you in the next podcast.
No diddy.